Brian is my name. Bending tubes is the game. All right, so today we're going to talk about where we're at with the car. Bonneville Salt Flat race car. We've got a lot done since the last time we were in. Lots of sheet metal work, more to come. We had the NHRA certified guy come in and he took a look at the car. Everything was looking good, but he decided we were going to add a little more tube work to get to the next level of certification. So we had him come in and double check that work for us today. It was just a couple diagonal tubes. So our chassis is pretty much ready to go. We still have to get suspension and control arms and all that set up. So yeah, there's a lot going on in here. We got our funny car cage here, which is a requirement for what we're doing with this car. Pretty standard. But what we needed to add was an X. We only had one diagonal, which is plenty fine for most situations, but we're already so far. So we went ahead and added up this diagonal here. What else? Got that diagonal. We added some gussetings up front here, these door tubes, and this main hoop diagonal also, which is usually often an X in a lot of cars, but we've already got so much strength, we didn't need that. When you certify a car, it's based on what speed you intend on going. And so this being a land speed car, our top speed really is unknown. But we want to break a 200 mile an hour barrier. That doesn't mean we're only going to get to 200 miles an hour. And so if you're in a car that's already been certified and you go faster than you're supposed to, they won't let you race again until you can up your certification. And often that means more tube work. So what we're trying to do is beat that to the punch and just get ahead of ourselves on the tube work, so our certification will definitely be reached. And so we've done that, and we're just waiting for our sticker, and that's a simplified way of it.
All right, well, in the last, I guess, month or so, I've been working on getting all the sheet metal in here done, which includes these side pieces, which you can see here, as well as the floor. The floor we're not going to weld in quite yet, just because getting in and out is already pretty difficult at this point. But all the pieces are made and ready to be welded in. So the last month has been a lot of just little stuff too. I mean, we've got all of this area boxed in with our A-pillar connecting to the front roll cage here. And that goes all the way up and around over here. The whole cage is boxed in where the driver's going to be sitting here. So up and around here, we got it coming back down the B-pillar. So a lot of little stuff. We got the door jambs made. On that side, they're tacked in right now. They're all welded up. And so it's been a lot of little stuff. We got a few more pieces to go in here with the interior sheet metal, and we'll do a demo with bead rolling at some point here. There's different ways to put a bead like this in sheet metal. You can do it on the Polmax. The bead roller, just for what we got here, is faster, and if you're careful, you can get it pretty good. So that'll work for this project. But yeah, that's what we've been working on so far. Well, one of the things we had to do once this cage was all built and once we got the doors back on and everything was kind of make notches and box around where the cage was hitting the door and keeping it from closing. So what I did was I went and carefully cut out, slowly just trimmed away until we barely had enough clearance, and then made these new panels to fit up in here. As well as back here, this will clear the door bar. Getting that sheet metal worked in there was tricky, but they work great now. Everything works, and we're going to get ready and start making windows here pretty quick, which will be a whole new challenge. Most race cars have fixed windows. They'll be fastened all the way around with machine screws, but here we're going to try to keep the windows operational. So we'll see if time permits that. Well, for the windows, we're going to be using Lexan. That's required with race vehicles for safety purposes, as well as it's lightweight. But normally, like I say, you'd have a frame with every maybe 3 inches, you'd have a machine screw countersunk holding that piece in. A lot of chopped cars don't have moving glass just because when you chop a car, all the angles that your old window track ran on are changed. And that makes it pretty difficult to go in and fix all the geometry and get it to still be functional. So that on top of having these cutouts and boxing everything in, it's going to be difficult to make it still work and not be super flimsy and unstable. So that'll be a fun job. This piece is for the passenger side. It's not quite completed yet. This is what it looks like when that bead is put into it. All of these pieces, shape-wise, they're relatively simple. It's just getting them to fit really nice on that tube. But as you can see here, I've gone and I've drawn out my pattern, and I've made all of my radiuses, and I've cleaned everything up pretty nice. So this is ready to be bead rolled right now, and yeah, it should match the other side. When you do a complicated bead like this, something a little bit more maybe ornate, getting both sides to match and not have it be super obvious that they're different is tricky. So I think we're pretty close. You can see the other side as compared to this one from the back side is pretty close.